a lot of the times when we have cliches, right, and phrases that are often used, there's a meaning behind that we all tend to like typically agree with. People might have their criticisms, but in a general point, we do. And I'd be interested to know why you guys think a lot of us use and accept a phrase that he/she, which can be for both, wears the trousers in a relationship. Because it kind of links back to that like power dynamics. I don't necessarily have an answer to this. I'm just interested in what you would say. It could be temperamental differences, things like agreeableness. But why do we say that for both genders? You know, because I know couples in my life where I'd say she wears a trouser or he wears a trousers. What are we trying to pin down when we say something like that? What are we trying to get across?
I think we're trying to, get across this like misogynistic ideal, right?
Well, if we go back, it's not. But how can it be misogyny if it's she wears the trousers?
Because do you see the language that you're using? Trousers.
Yeah.
Women only started wearing trousers in the 30s, 20s onwards, 1920s onwards, or 10s. Do you see the sort of linguistic history behind that phrase and how that can be misogynistic in nature?
I see how the metaphor.
I'm not saying it's misogynist.
I can see how the metaphor links to sort of wearing trousers, going to the factory, and having a jolly old time at work. I can see that, right? But what if it's there are couples who both make a similar amount of money, both have jobs, but one we would consider wears the trousers, and if they're female, is that like a misogynistic point? What do you think? I get the misogynistic undertones of the metaphor of wearing trousers, going to work, etc. Okay, agree. But my question was, what is that metaphor trying to get pinned down? What phenomena are we trying to understand by saying that?
I think it's mainly to do with the power dynamic in the relationship. And
okay,
I mean, it could go both ways, male and female.
Okay, and what is that power dynamic, Leo? What is that to you?
I think it differs between every relationship, but it could be due to decision making, like whether the woman makes the decisions or whether the man in the relationship. But then it could be down to many. I don't know really. It could be many things. I don't think there's one specific pinpoint. There's no specific point that you could attribute that to.
I suppose what you're trying to get across, Leo, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, is that the person wearing the trousers, right, these metaphorical trousers, is the one making the decisions, which has, throughout history, been the role of the man, right? Is what we're saying. So she's taking on, even if we're not thinking it, implicit in that phrase is that the woman is taking on the man's role if we say she wears the trousers in the relationship, right? You see my point?
Yeah, it's interesting. The reason I bring that, you made a very good point there. The reason I bring it up is just so I wanted to establish the fact that we do recognise that there can be power dynamics and that it can go the other way. But interesting point.
I think a good distinction to make is if the woman wants to wear the trousers, she can, but it hasn't been maybe optimal in the past because men are more conscientious and orderly, and women have been more sort of neurotic and emotional, and don't sort of make the decisions or haven't that hasn't been more their role.
Yeah,
but that you see how that wasn't a choice really, right?
Yeah, then they couldn't. Yeah,
and does the phrase itself not have bad connotations, and show how relationships should be equal between both the male and the female? To wear the trousers, kind of connotates it as a bad thing. I don't know. Yeah.
That's an interesting point. I don't know. With some things, I'm happy for people to wear my trousers. Sometimes I don't want to make decisions. Sometimes I don't want to be the one that has the power in that situation. Sometimes I like someone to take the lead and show me something new or make a decision in some area. Or I don't know, this might be completely irrelevant, and if it is, tell me. But from a sporting perspective, if someone has some point about how we should play a game, or if they're better than me in some specific skill, I will create the game for them to be the one that has the power, and I'm just used as a pawn in there. That's okay.